Hello, everyone. Here's a weird thing. I'm in the cabine. Michelle's in the buggy bed. We are a long distance relationship today, and it's all in the name of video. We're experimenting with video things we can do for our Patreon, patreon.com/BlyStay, and adverts so soon. Yeah, look into it. We're going to see what we can do. But at the moment, the best way of us doing that is to be in different rooms. It's like we're estranged, like we've had a big fight. And I'm in one. I can see. Oh, join the Patreon. You can see Michelle's sad face. Anyway, I'm Robin. She is.
Michelle,
Yeah, she's there. And we are.
we're Blighty Day Fiancé. Well, we're Mr. and Mrs. Snark. We're a married,
Hmm.
transatlantic,
Yeah,
monogamous, heterosexual, cisgender couple based in London.
that's right.
Whether you're all of those things or none of those things, you are more than welcome here. We are a very broad church.
Yeah, not like
And
the murder show with David Tennant and Olivia Colman. There's no like dead people on the beach. We're not that.
no,
Did you see
um,
the American Broadchurch?
I watched maybe 5 minutes of it and I couldn't cope with Tennant doing an American accent, or I should say, trying to do an American
Yeah,
accent.
come at us if you can think of a single UK show that was translated to the States and was better apart from The Office.
Well, yeah.
And arguably Veep, right? Veep being kind of like the spirit of the thick of it.
I don't think it counts as the same show at
Not
all,
really, no.
but we don't need to go into the nitty gritty of that.
Okay,
Um,
what nitty gritty are we getting into today?
Today we're talking about 90 Day Fiance UK.
90 to fuck.
Um, but before we dig into all of that, I have been asking our dear listeners to share with me their personal accomplishments that are
Oh, yeah.
not hatches, matches, or dispatches, or baby or wedding or funeral related
Right. That's what Hatches,
accomplishments.
Matches, Dispatches is, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
there's
trying to
other
think of
stuff
like,
in between, right? The connective tissue that makes life.
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
there you
So
go.
this one is from B,
Hi, B.
and she's got
But
three things to share with us. One, I got maybe my best performance review ever at my job. It was
amazing.
basically just, "You're amazing," no notes, and that has never happened in my life. Is this what it feels like to be good at something? 2, when I told my mom about said performance review,
Oh, boy.
she said she was proud of me for maybe the
Whoa.
3rd time in my life.
Whoa.
3, I'm going to see the Eras tour in Paris with a very dear friend of mine from the north of England, whom I've not seen in about 15 years. And we FaceTimed for the first time in forever this weekend. And it was just lovely.
Amazing. The what tour?
The Taylor Swift, the Eras
Oh, right.
tour.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well done for getting tickets to that first.
Yeah. And in Paris.
Goodness. I feel there's a romance there. Do you do you get together with someone that you didn't know for 15 years and take them to Paris to see Taylor Swift?
I don't think that's okay. I think you just ruined it.
Okay, I ruined the moment. But I'm only saying that because I was distracted by the fact that your microphone was falling down, which is
Well,
delightful.
it's always falling down, but I'm just saying not every like you actually did the one thing that we don't allow in non-hatch match or dispatch achievement
Oh
corner, which is
no,
you
I made it
turned it
bow.
into a match. You
Turned
made it
into a
into a
match.
romance. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
exactly.
sorry. Sorry, B. You have a wonderful time with your old friend, and I'm delighted. I celebrate you.
Me too.
Yeah, good.
I didn't tell you this. Speaking of celebrating, There was a guy, I had a very difficult day at work the other day. It was fine. The outcome was absolutely fine, but it was my first time going to court in a couple of months. And so it was quite stressful. And there was a gentleman on the train platform in front of me who had what I can only describe as an illustrated denim vest with Kenny Loggins's face on the back.
Was it Kenny Loggins? Because I can imagine Loggins wears Loggins.
It wasn't him. He was too young to be Kenny
On
Loggins.
the back, what was on the front? Was it plain?
No, it said crew or something on the front. So,
Oh!
yeah.
Do you think it was Loggins' road crew
I don't
attire?
let me see what it says. I have to look at the
Did
picture
you ever get
now.
one back in those days when you sort of, obliquely worked in the film industry? Do you ever get what like some of that sweet, sweet crew merch? Those silky bomber jackets with the
Oh
name of the
god, no,
movie
I
on
was
them.
never that important.
Oof.
Oh,
The only thing I ever got fancy, fancy merch for was the movie A Night at the Roxbury.
oh
do
yeah,
you
the watch.
do you remember? Yeah. Well, do you remember that? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
Was it Seth
but you got a
Rogen or was it
watch,
the one
wasn't it?
who's like Seth Rogen but isn't Seth Rogen?
This is like decades before Seth Rogen. This is gonna be one of those nights I already feel it, and
Oh shit.
I apologize to everyone in the audience because in fact, I'm gonna make it so that my mic continues to fall over just to annoy you because I feel like you're doing things just to annoy me. I tell a lie, it is not a denim vest. It is
You photographed it.
a denim well, of course I did. It's a denim jacket that says
Wow.
Kenny Loggins Vox Vox Humana Tour 85.
Can we turn your phone to the camera so if the Patreonies ever get fuck me.
Isn't that incredible?
That is amazing. That's
Isn't it?
that's full Jean-Michel Jarre kind of graphics though. I'd say, but that doesn't scream Loggins to me.
It looks absolutely nothing like Kenny
It looks
Loggins.
like Wayne Coyle. What's his name from Flaming Lips?
Wayne
Coin
Coyne.
from
Yeah.
Flaming Lips, right? It doesn't look anything like Loggins. It's
But
never been anywhere near the danger zone.
look at what this guy's pairing it
Oh
with.
my god, he's got a Eugene from The Walking Dead mullet. That
Yeah.
is wow.
Yeah.
And
It wouldn't
you didn't leave me for this guy immediately? Why didn't you text that to me first? Why didn't you text that to me and say your team?
well, because he's on my team.
Shit. We have a thing. Could we tell the team?
Yeah, of course.
Let's give this.
I think it's gonna
Can we give this as a gift to the listeners for them to do with their other halves?
I feel like it should be a Patreon only thing because I don't
Nah,
want it to go wild.
I want it to go wild. Let's give it away. Let's give it away. All right. So the got to now. Got to. The
It's not
day
yours. It's not yours to give. I shared
oh,
it with you.
well that's true. It
It's
is
not
your
yours
thing.
to decide.
Okay.
We're paywalling it. Sorry.
Damn it. Okay.
You can learn the game if you sign up for the Patreon. It's only like $5 a month.
Right. And honestly, the game will change your lives. It will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That much I can promise
It
you.
really will, though. It really will. Like the day I met Michelle, literally the day our first date, she drew me into the game. And the game has defined our relationship, I'd say, from day one. Right?
It is, by the way, not to be confused with the game where the first person to mention the game loses or whatever.
Oh no, it's none of that. It's not like
Yeah.
the terrible Michael Douglas movie, The Game, which is quite a good movie.
Never saw it.
I once have I told this story on the pod? I'm going to do it anyway. Um, when I were a student, the local supermarket, this is very Matt Maher, I quite like this. The local supermarket from our heroes reality gaze, join them, pay money. They're wonderful. The local supermarket decided it would be a good idea, and also not like a cool, it was an Asda, I think, Chicken Dippers Ahoy. Um, they decided it would be a good idea to have singles nights. So every Wednesday night, I want to say at 10 p.m., they had singles nights. And the idea was people would go to the supermarket and everyone there would be single. It was like Tinder with more bacon, right? Is this a horrible idea first? What do you think? The idea being like, oh, where do people meet each other? They meet each other at supermarkets. They don't. But let's like designate this hour to it's fair game. Chat up people in the, adult diapers aisle, right? So me and the girl that I was dating, at the time, we went to cover it for the student paper.
The girl I was dating and I.
Oh my lord. Well, yes, we were both taking English degrees and apparently we failed them. Um, so we went to cover it for the student paper. But there weren't really any singles at the singles night. In fact, all there was media. Just media upon media upon media going this like they'd all been invited by the PR, but there were and such as there were customers in the supermarket that night, it was just old ladies buying their tea and crumpets, right? It wasn't like people looking for hot dates. Um, so we all started feeding off each other, but like so many like media outlets went to me and this girl and were like, okay, this is a complete washout. Can you pretend that like you met here tonight and can you be our bit to camera? And we were all over like TV and stuff as like we met at Asda on singles night. We thought, fuck it, camaraderie in the trenches. We'll give them this, right? We were on Good Morning with Anne and Nick. That is a big deal. So there'll be people out there that resonate. But we thought that was the end of it, right? A couple of days later, and I have no idea how they got my phone number. I got a phone call from the Sun newspaper who were like, we will pay you for your story of how you met at the Asda on singles night. And we were like, we are quite poor students. We will take that Murdoch money, right? And so they were like, so have you? And we did the whole, oh yeah, we met. It was love at first sight, blah blah blah, complete bullshit. Have you been on a date? Oh yeah. We've been on a date since then. Oh, what did you go and do? Oh, we went to see a movie. What did you see? And the only thing that we'd seen recently was a French art house film, the name of which now escapes me, right? This really obscure French art house film that we'd seen like that week because we were a couple of ponces. And they were like, yeah, that's not really going to work with some readers. Could you come up with another movie? And I was like, yes, steamy sex thriller Disclosure with, do you remember Disclosure with Michael Douglas?
No, because I was, like, in 2nd grade when you were at university.
I was like, I'll give him a steamy sex thriller. And I think we were talking about the game, and then I went on to Disclosure, but it just reminded me there's a good story. So if you read every article ever printed in the Sun, you will see my beautiful early 20 something face, pretending that Cupid has bebowed me. And it ain't real. Because I've only got one love in my life.
The cables?
Oh, God. Has that been enough prelude? I feel like I've given away anecdote upon anecdote. I'm very excited.
I can tell. It it's contagious. My best friend sent me a photo the other day of someone on TikTok who said, "I threw away a box full of cables a week ago, and I need you to know that I'm fine." And
No
I
cable left
responded
behind.
and I responded to that with, "Well, my husband just said we need to clean out the garage so that we can make room for more
But yeah,
cables.
more cables. Absolutely.
I think yeah,
The
I think
cable farm.
the last FaceTime or Facebook Live we did gave people panic attacks. Oh, well.
Oh, well. All right. Speaking of panic attacks, 90 to fuck. Who've we got?
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we should get the difficult stuff over with first. That's just
Please,
my
please do.
instinct.
Please do.
Okay, so Marcy, Martha, Marcy May, Marlene,
Yeah.
and Michael.
Yeah.
Um, this is just sad, you guys. d- I can just I empathize with her so much
Yeah, me too.
because it's
Totally.
so hard being in a new place where you don't know anybody, and I just don't think that you know what? I don't have a lot to add to what she said, you know? It's very clear that she's clinically depressed, and I think it would go such a long way if he just validated her, like
That's
if
all he has to do. At
instead of
every stage in that conversation, all he has to do is go, yeah, that must be really hard for you. How can I make it a little bit better? That's all he has to do.
not even, but it's a typical male thing to want to fix something, to want to
Hmm.
fix a problem, and I think you know,
Yeah.
it probably this kind of fight probably resonates with a lot of couples because sometimes you really just need someone to say, "Yeah, that really fucking sucks," rather than, "Ugh, so why don't you quit your job? Why don't you join the gym? Why don't you take a train or take a bus or whatever?" And you know, there's something
But
deeper there.
he
I
doesn't
really
even,
don't.
but he doesn't even do that, right? He doesn't even come up with answers. Or what he does is the worst possible thing you could do, which is, and why are you blaming me for that? It's like it couldn't have been a worse response. Oh, so you don't love me? Oh, fine. So you're going to just go. All right, good. It, I could not honestly. If me and a team of writers sat in a writer's room for like a month, we couldn't break a story where the response was less good than that. Awful.
That is That is the Robine Brown from Sister Wives response to a conflict.
How does this relate to
It's
me?
yeah.
Yeah,
How can I make this about me?
yeah.
And he does that. I would say maybe if you're about to have a difficult conversation, make sure the other person isn't holding a knife.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't know, if he bursts into tears, it's not because he's being empathetic in any way. It's just the onions.
The onion,
He's cut a
yeah.
lot of onions. Um, it reminded me more than anything of Gremlins. Um, you get the gremlin. What were they called? What was the species called? Mogwai.
Mogwai.
You get your Mogwai from the interesting Chinese man. Um, you get him home, and then you are kind of a little bit annoyed that there are some care instructions. You actually, you can't get him wet, you can't feed him after midnight, all of those things. It's like he's a little bit, he's sort of acted a little bit like the male lead in Gremlins, whose name I have now forgotten. I'm going to say David. Is it David? Daniel?
Oh,
Doesn't matter. But it's a little bit like, I don't need to worry about those rules. I don't need to like make sure that she's got any of her creature comforts or anything. I don't need to make sure she's got any friends. I don't need to make sure that she's got anywhere to go. I don't need to make sure that she's got food that she like. None of that really matters. I'm just gonna treat her the way I would treat any pet, and it'll be absolutely fine. And it's not fine because all of a sudden Stripe's running around the house holding a knife.
I'm a little bit worried about you comparing a human woman to a gremlin, particularly an immigrant.
To Gizmo, and we all love Gizmo. I'm just saying, Gizmo was, but here's the thing: Gizmo was the injured party, right? Gizmo, do you remember that sad look on Gizmo's face when he was like, "You're fucking up here, dude, and terrible things are going to happen." And we all, I think I know what side I was on.
Yeah. Can I ask you something weird? Did you find the lady gremlin attractive?
So attractive. Why are you even asking me that? Of course I did.
Okay. I'm just curious.
And
Did you f
also, I also found the, um, the aloof British gremlin quite attractive.
there was an aloof British
Yeah, we're
gremlin?
talking Gremlins 2 now, right? Do you remember the one in
Yeah.
the pinstripe suit? I think he's smoking a cigar. He's like, "Oh, darling, we're all just gremlins here. Can't we, just get a" Do you remember him? He was
I guess
awesome.
not. I
Yeah,
guess
he
he
was
didn't
cool
really
as
make an
fuck.
impact.
He was very cool.
Did you find Bugs Bunny in drag attractive?
No.
What cartoon characters did you find attractive?
Uh, I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think what cartoon characters I really like. Which ones do I find attractive?
Apart from the obvious, Jessica Rabbit.
I mean, it's a given, obviously, Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Penelope Pitstop.
Oh, that's just because she was crying and vulnerable, and you can't resist that.
Help! Help! That really, yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
that
woman in
that
peril.
does it for you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For me, it was like the first and I don't think this is unique at all to my generation or among my generation. In fact, I think it was Lindy West who wrote an essay about it. I was attracted to the Disney animated Robin Hood,
Robin Hood, yeah.
who was
Yeah.
a fox. I
Yeah.
found him very attractive. Short
Mhm.
king, not normally my type. I also found, uh, in Daria, Jane's older brother, Trent, I thought he was really hot and had a sexy voice, but then when I watch it now or going back to it, I'm a bit like, why was he always trying to hang around, like, these 2 high school girls? That's a bit troubling.
Yeah, I think I may have been attracted to Daria. Is that terrible?
No, I mean, there's a popular theory now, or I should say, neurodivergent women have been
Oh.
claiming Daria because it's almost certain that she was an ND. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, definitely, Raphael of the Ninja Turtles. I thought he was really attractive.
But hang on, how much difference was there between the different turtles? Was there that much difference?
Uh, Personality-wise,
Uh,
absolutely.
okay. Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, he had good I guess Donatello was the most sensitive one.
Right.
Um,
But sometimes you just want a Leonardo, right?
n You
No
mean
one wanted
Michelangelo?
yeah, but no one wanted
Wait,
Raphael.
no, I just said
Oh, you
Raphael, didn't
did?
I?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I thought he was the best
Well,
looking.
he's
I couldn't stand
brooding.
Michelangelo. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He was he's
irritating. Yeah.
he's angry and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Raphael's angry and, inaccessible.
Like the
So,
Liam Neeson
sounds
of Turtles.
I'm trying to think
Uh,
of the ones that I watched again and again, but no, I mean,
is it wrong for me to say Smurfette? I don't know
no,
how
I think
old
that's another really common one.
yeah, how old were the Smurfs? Was Smurfette, like, legal?
Yeah, I think they were all
Were
adults.
they all adults? Okay.
We've talked about this is
We
the second time we've
yeah, we
talked
did
about
the
the Smurf.
Gargamel thing last time.
So, yeah, Gargamel was absolutely, um God, it really makes me rethink things. So nobody likes Brainy Smurf, right? Because he was a
Right.
tattletale,
Yeah.
and,
He was a bit of a
and
dick. He wasn't just brainy, he was a bit of a dick. He
he was
was a
such a wet blanket.
yeah, he was grumpy and miserable, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he was awful. I actually I thought Papa Smurf was hot.
anything else to say about Marcy, Mercy, and Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but laugh in a gallows humor kind of way when she said, "I know who'll understand. My sister. I know who will offer me support." And then her sister's like, "This is very much you are the problem."
I felt that her sister was going, We have already slaughtered the goats and drunk the beer. This dowry is not refundable."
That Coke is not going back in the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. All of that fizzy pop is going nowhere. Um, yeah. Um, your room has been rented out. Any trace of you in Kenya has been erased. You've always been a problem. We got rid of you. You can't come back.
And I took your room now, so you definitely can't have it
Yeah.
back, and you left your best denim jacket.
It's got
Uh,
it's got Kenny Loggins on it.
it's got Kenny Loggins' Vox Humana 1985 tour
Right.
artwork on the back.
Did that
It's
tour get to
embroidered.
Kenya?
It probably did.
Sure,
That was
Loggins.
the mid '80s, that was when everybody was that was like the Bob Geldof era of like, "Oh, we're let's go
Yeah.
all of us white guys, let's go write songs about Africa."
Yeah, but then they play Sun City and people go, that's the wrong Africa, you can't play that." That happened many times. So that was awful. I am wholeheartedly with Mercy Marcy on the food thing. When you say I'll pick up something on the way home, the chicken cottage is not that is not what you do.
I know.
Were they
You know,
sharing a chicken burger too? It was neatly sliced in half.
I don't I
Like
I can't think about it, and that's
chips for
not
days, fries for days, and then half a chicken burger. It was awful looking.
I don't know how people keep their sodium levels in check on that kind of diet. I mean, look, it's difficult, and unfortunately, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I thought,
Mhm.
this is fine. He's a salt of the earth, meat and potatoes kind of guy. Like
But
we've
with an
said, we've
open
got
mind that's gonna develop
yeah,
beyond just that, and he is
but
just that.
I'm kind of worried that and I thought they brought out his pig person friend and his other friend who I hated, man bun, irrelevant man bun friend, just to create some kind of conflict, but I think he
Yeah, and to
actually
show the
does.
contrast that he is not that, right? Because he
Right.
stood up to them. But all of that was
He
him
could have done it. He could have done more,
he
but
could have done more. But he did
now
something, and now no.
now I'm thinking he does actually think, "I've given you this
Yeah,
incredible gift. I've taken you out of, you know, your country, which is inferior to mine,
yep,
and given you the gift of never-ending winters and a coastal town where, people lock their car doors when you walk by." Like,
wow. Yeah,
I don't
horrible.
know, I'm reflecting on what she said her experience was,
Yeah, I know.
that
Yeah.
I'm not making a judgment on coastal towns in England. Um, anyway, a
Anyway, who's next?
nicer coastal town over in Devon, Shane
Mhm.
and Mert.
Some gorgeous devoning in this episode, right? In
Yeah.
those little
Ugh.
bites. Oh,
Um, I did ask Shane what their couple name was, whether it was Maine or Shirt, and she said that she likes Shirt, but it sounds a bit too much like Shart.
yes, it does, yes.
Um, and I felt that, yeah.
So hang on, you asked
Um,
Shane. You chummy with Shane now. That's nice.
we've talked on Instagram,
That's
not over
nice.
DM yet, but yeah, in the comments section.
Of all the people in the 90-day universe at the moment, Shane is the person I would most like to go out for a drink with.
For me, it's Statler, but
It's close. It's close. I don't know if I
yeah,
could keep up with Statler. I think I
yeah,
could. I'll give it a
I
crack.
don't think you could.
But yeah, Shane is a delight, a continual delight. And I was over the moon this week that Shane just got like two massive wins. It's like this doesn't happen on this show. Why are we doing them first or so early? Can we not save
No,
it
I
for the
just
end?
I think it's important to balance it out a little bit,
Yeah, all right.
because this episode was a
Grim.
little bit, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, and last week's was as well, but
yeah,
to tack on to what our lovely producer cousin Dan said last week, this kind of representation is so important, and it it goes against the narrative that we are fed again and again, that it's a miserable experience to be a non-binary person or a
yeah.
trans person or somebody, or just anyone who's gender non-conforming.
It's the last
Um,
taboo, isn't it? And that is like propagated so that parents aren't repulsed by their children when they come out, but they are worried for their children when they come out. And so that all feeds into not encouraging kids to be who they are, right?
this was the first wedding dress shopping trip in a long time that I was actually really excited for and really happy to see. And we had that hilarious misunderstanding where you said, "I don't know why they have her so far down in the shot." And I thought you said, "I don't know why they have her so far down in the shop." And I said, "Well, the railings are really high because the dresses are long,"
I was just so
which is true.
just at her in the moment. She was like this. Again, not going to work for audio. She, like framed the poor girl. She was right down at the bottom of the frame. It was very odd. Like she was, you know those they have them for kids like at attractions and stuff. You know those giant chairs that you can sit on. It's like
Yeah,
pretend to be a very small, so little person on the giant
very
chair.
little.
Very little. It was like
But
she
this
was in one
was
of those. I expected like a giant cereal box in the background or something.
that would be a fun way to mix up the ITMs. It's
Wouldn't
already
it?
confusing enough when they've shot it after a period of time and where, like, remember, Ari and Binyam, she had lost a bunch of weight and had a bunch
Yeah.
of work done on her face, so she looked different in every
So
other
weird.
testimonial, and it was like, "Who is that again?"
I liked it
Um,
this week in, and we'll get to it. Oh, we'll get to it. Um, Jasmine and Gino this week, where they break the fourth wall. And the argument is actually them wearing the costumes we've seen them in all season. It's like, ooh, in medias res, this is like some serious writing has happened
mhm,
here.
yeah.
It was quite a thing. Quite a thing.
Um, I did prefer the second dress,
Yeah, me
but
too.
I love to see I love to see a bride in a wedding gown looking happy. There
Happy.
really is my
As opposed to, I don't know. But it was just joy.
well,
Sorry.
you're allowed to not I so I kinda go in different directions on Say Yes to the Dress. The variation of Say Yes to the Dress that I don't like is where, um, the father is in charge of taking the girl dress shopping, and I remember there was one in particular where the father started crying, and he said, "I just want her to look like an angel that fell down from heaven." And I
Yeah,
don't know, it just didn't read right to me. Do you know what I mean?
I do
It's
know what
just
you
it's
mean.
creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
it is creepy.
I kinda some of
You're
my best
gone.
sorry.
No, no.
No, I have been wedding dress shopping more than once. I'm not ashamed to say because, as long as you get it done right, it doesn't matter how many times you get married, who cares? Um, but there is like I went wedding dress shopping during COVID and cuz we still had no idea at that point how long everything was gonna be shut and how long we were gonna have to wait, and I just remember being in the shop, and it was just me and the one um, is it okay to call her a shop girl? I never sales associate. Me and the one
Sure.
sales associate. And it was actually a really special experience, and I thought I'd be really sad not having, because the first time I went on to try on wedding dresses, my mom was there, my friends were there, it was a whole big thing, and, I ended up going with a dress that was it was beautiful, but it was very much chosen by committee. And it was really nice just to make the decision. And then do you remember when you came with me?
Yeah, of
We
course.
broke with tradition, and you saw me in my dress before the big day. And I
Yeah.
just think,
And we had
yeah,
your
it's a
mum on
really,
we did get your mum on a video call just to
yeah.
get her sign off because, oof, we didn't need no disagreement there. That would not have gone good, but she was
No, it wouldn't
I
have.
was I was genuinely, like, that element of, "Oh, you should save it for the day." It's like, "Nah, I got my moment then because I got the full." I think I burst into tears. I don't know,
I
it was
know.
yeah.
I'm crying just thinking about it.
I
Happy
love that day.
tears.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a
What I
wonderful
now
day.
what I will say is you probably shouldn't take all the local grannies shopping with you,
I think
like,
those
because they're gonna say everything. Ah, it's lovely. Ah, oh, oh, you look. Oh, that is. Oh, you're so bit. That is lovely. If you come out in a bin bag with sick on it, ah, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful. Because these are lovely, lovely people. You do need a sarcastic queen with you as well. You can't just have the lovely local grannies. That is all I think. Because she
I
would
don't
have
know.
chosen the second dress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, her face when she tried that dress, when she stepped out in that dress, just got me all weepy weeps, full of joy.
Wonderful
Um,
person, lovely couple. Love it.
Beautiful couple, wish you the best. Can't wait to see the wedding. Don't do anything stupid.
Please.
Um, so on to Rebecca and Christian.
Lovely couple, beautiful. Can't wait to see the dress. Gorgeous
No,
couple.
no,
Let's move.
no,
Oh, okay. All right.
no, no,
All right.
no,
Oh, okay.
no. The outstanding quote I have from here, or the outstanding exchange, I should say, is when Christian goes into the jewelry store and he says, "I'm getting engaged." And what's his name from Are You Being Served? I always forget his name.
Can't remember. Move on.
Oh, shit. Anyway, he says, "No
Not a
problem."
problem.
Sorry, you're
to
gonna
be
kill me.
to be fair, he did say, "I'm going to need a bit of help," and the guy was saying, "No problem, not a problem," in response to that. But it was like he was saying to the engagement.
That is not how I heard it. And he was either extremely nervous to be on camera or extremely nervous looking at Christian, or a mix of both. And again, this was another opportunity where I just feel like we got a bit of magical realism like we did when with the Velveteen Dandy Fop who worked at the costume shop, who
Oh,
was
he was the
saying over and over
yeah,
again, "This is the smallest neck I've ever seen. Are
a
you
tiny
sure you're
neck. Are you
are
sure
you
not, you're
sure
not
you're
a
done
child,
growing?"
sir? Was that you chatting up my girlfriend in the bar last week? Maybe this can be my revenge on camera, sir.
I We need to
I
find
like
that
to think
guy.
I like to think that the American girl who's gone to Belgium is actually shady costume guy's girlfriend.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. In my head,
Um,
that is the story.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wanna talk to all of those people. Anyway,
Never
yeah,
buy an engagement ring from a shop that has got a bejeweled Lilo or Stitch blurred out in the background. Um,
Lilo. It's
do you
Lilo.
Lilo? You say Lilo. You say Lilo. I say Lilo. Let's call the whole thing off.
You
Um,
people do this all the time. It's Barack Obama. It's not Barack Obama.
Barry.
You can't just decide it's someone's name. You can't just decide that you wanna say it differently.
It's bloody Lilo, okay? Like the blow up thing that you lie on in a pool.
I will meet you where you are on the word HERB, okay?
Yeah,
And the word GARAGE. All right? Garage, fine. Herb, fine. Somebody's actual name, no, you don't get to decide how it's pronounced.
you're quite right. I've never seen Lilo and Stitch, so I wouldn't know. I've only seen it written down. So it's
I
an
don't
innocent attempt. An
look,
innocent attempt.
I don't wanna clown on, chain jewelry stores. I do think they are rip-off merchants, and the value of whatever you buy
Yeah.
goes down, by half easily the minute you walk out the door.
Yeah, that 50% off. Oh, if only you knew. Um, any jeweler that has got massive signs in the window talking about how reduced their prices are, those prices are not reduced.
No, if you wanna buy good jewelry, go to the Diamond District in London, Hatton Garden, tell them I sent you.
But don't go armed. They got guards who are packing. That is the only place in London where you will see people with, semi automatic rifles. It
Yeah, they
is.
don't mess
They
around.
do not mess around.
Oh, but it's a
You know, all
lovely
of those shops are connected at the back. Are you aware of that?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like a maze of corridors full of, you know, armed up guys. Yeah, don't mess, don't mess. Um,
Anything else you wanna tell me that I already know, like
I'm really,
Big Ben is the name of the bell and not the clock?
I'm really telling our friends, the listeners. I assume you know everything. I
Well,
assume you know much more than me because you do.
then
Just telling
okay.
our beautiful friends, the listeners. Yeah. Have you got anything cheaper? Well, we've got this circular shit. Uh, have you got anything cheaper than the circular shit? Yeah, we've got this circular blood clot you can stick around a finger.
You know
Anything
what?
cheaper than the blood clot?
Look, we've talked about diamonds and that. One of the shops in Hatton Garden exclusively sells, man-made diamonds, and they're absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I don't we've talked about this already. It doesn't matter. It's the thought that counts. Who
It is, and I
cares?
will say, in his complete defense, can we all remember that Argentina suffered? Like, we think we've had some economic like crashes and crises in like the States or the UK, which is where most of our listeners are. Yeah, you ain't seen shit compared to Argentina. So yeah, I'm sure that it's pesos in Argentina, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure his pesos don't go very far over here, and that is not his fault. So,
No,
yeah,
of course look, it
certainly
doesn't
not gonna
matter.
shame him for that.
What I will shame him for is uh the phrase just hit me with the shit and we can clean it up together. And boy, he wasn't kidding because this proposal has plastic flower petals and balloons.
But Argentina balloons and Britain balloons. I joshed you. Can I tell the beautiful listeners what I was joshing about? Is it safe?
I don't know what you're talking about,
Well, I
so
said this
probably.
entire relationship is revenge for the Falklands. Because that is how it
Oh,
that is how it has started to come across. And I'm not sure because in the bowling, the names that I she got like a name beginning with B, and I don't know if it's like an Argentinian colloquialism for British. But he was like it was Argian Bolshi or something. I don't know. I don't. I should have written it down really.
yeah, not sure.
But
I'll
then
have
he's got the
to.
Argentina flag in the back, and it's like for our American, do are Americans au fait with the troubled relationship between Argentina and Britain?
I'm sure if they aren't, they can READABO, okay?
Yeah, these are
And
not two nations that have seen eye to eye, particularly over the last 40 years. Let's put it
no,
that way.
or indeed the last 4 years. I cried when Pochettino left Spurs.
Puccettino.
Puchet what I'm sorry, Robin, I didn't pronounce it absolutely perfectly. I start to think about him and my mind goes somewhere else. I was very sad when we lost our Argentinian manager.
I cannot. We have a Greek god now, an Australian Greek god. Everything is rosy in the life of the world of footballs. I never talk about my football allegiances on this because I'm aware that I will immediately alienate, at best, like, you know, 19 out of every 20 listeners. So should we hastily move on before I give my thoughts on Mr. Puccettino? No one needs to hear those.
Sure. Um yeah, look, more of Tionne and David.
Hooray!
You had you had some you had some pretty strong opinions about pain au chocolat.
Yes, I have very strong opinions on pain au chocolats. Like, there are many, many, many reasons to come for Tion, right? I am not going to be. I ain't standing between your bullets and Tion. I already tried to do that a couple of weeks ago. It gets an increasingly difficult hill to die on. This one, I have to say, and I'm sure we'll talk more. But the one bit of defense I have left for her is fuck pano chocolats in countries like that, because I've been there, sister. I know what they're like. It it's the same kind of thing. Have you ever had German pastries? A cheap
Yes.
well, actually, some German pastries are incredible, but I'm talking about, actually, I've had bad ones in Italy as well, so go figure. But like a cheap hotel buffet breakfast, right? You with me on this? You know those croissants or pain au chocolats that come in plastic wrap,
Yeah.
and like maybe they're supposed to be refreshed or cooked in some way and then they're better, but they never are.
No, they're made entirely of like margarine.
You get them in, like, they come in multi-packs in thin plastic
Yeah,
crinkly
they're
bags,
horrible.
like you
Awful,
might
awful,
get for like
awful.
bags of crisps, as we say, or potato chips. Do you get multi-packs of potato chips in the States? Who knows? But they come in little sealed little packets and they taste like ibis breakfasts, ibis budget. um
Yeah, it's a sad, soggy continental breakfast. It's not good.
Yeah, it's pure Holiday Inn Express. It's not, and I know what she's talking about, and they are gross. And that is not a pain au chocolat by any human description of a pain au chocolat. And look, no one loves pain au chocolats more than me, although as a gluten hater, and a member of the IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndicate, obviously my pan au chocolat days are behind me, but still the happiest moment of me and Alfie's entire life, the moment we bonded over more than anything, was watching a squirrel in Queen's Park, London, carrying a pan au chocolat in his little squirrel mouth, one end of the park, all the way over, across the fence, up and down like an obstacle course. And as he went, a little bit more of the pan au chocolat would fall off. And it would be like, can he get back to his squirrel nesty with any of this pan au
Oh.
chocolat left? And when he finally made it back to the tree he called home, with barely, barely even the pain left, let alone the chocolat, and the happy little look on his squirrel face, I know what a pan au chocolat can mean
To
to
a
a creature,
squirrel.
to a squirrel. Um, and that was not it, sir. That was not it.
The craziest thing I ever saw, of that nature, I mean, we told the story of the bird with the french fry
We
that
did.
that dropped it. We told that story. I was at Waterloo Station once, and you know how London you know how London pigeons, and I imagine pigeons the world over, but I've only really noticed pigeons' feet in London. It wasn't something that I was ever aware of before I came here. You know how pigeons' feet
They're
are
very
often
pigeon
mangled?
toed.
Yeah, well, not just pigeon-toed, but a lot of times they lose toes or
They
their
do.
feet get mangled because,
Yeah.
in an effort to keep them out. Anyway, doesn't slow them down, doesn't get rid of them or deter them at all, as it
No,
turns out. They
no,
are
no.
fine with messed up feet. I saw a pigeon in Waterloo Station pick up a coffee stirrer with its mangled foot.
Not with his beaky.
No.
With his mangled foot. What was he
And
gonna
then he
do with
just
it?
I
Take
don't
it to his
know,
nesty?
maybe.
Oh. Well,
I can't
well, he's not
I don't
one
think
not.
pigeons are cute. I guess. I was just surprised because he took it, like,
Out of the
out
cup.
of the cup of the coffee
Can't
stirrer, and
carry the whole
it's
cup.
I
I'll take
guess
what I
not.
can.
Anyway, look, we've all had bad days. I'm not very good in the heat. I'm already, like I'm getting shiny as we speak. It's quite stuffy in here in this
I
room.
know. The
I'm
only
not
room with aircon in the whole house, and you can't turn it on.
I know. I'm not mad at her for well, at least we have aircon. Um, I'm not mad at her for not wanting to be directly in the sun.
And
I
can we
I
be fair here? That picnic was garbage. Like, the food might have been absolutely great and everything, but you can't have salad without a fork. Like, some things. God knows the amount of effort we've expended trying to tell Alfie what foodstuffs require cutlery or silverware, as I
oh
believe,
man.
right?
Yeah.
The number, like, that cannot be eaten without cutlery. That can, right?
Yeah, I think I support her bailing on that particular situation. I
I
wasn't
don't
mad at
support
it.
that. I still think it's a gesture and you suck it down. Even if you reach into that salad and eat it by hand, I still think you have to suck it down. So I don't support that, but I can identify.
Okay. I mean, I think if you're going to be miserable and uncomfortable, the better thing to do is not further subject someone to your misery and discomfort, especially when you can't
Yeah.
disguise or hide it
Well,
or
that's
put
the
it in
point.
your pocket for half an hour.
It depends on one's ability to disguise, and clearly she has no ability or
Yeah,
no
like
desire. I mean, it's one
if
or the other.
if I go to a wedding, for example, I am leaving the minute the cake is cut. Forget it. I'm not staying a second longer. I
What,
don't
even
care
to
how
eat the
far
cake?
well, most people don't get good wedding cakes. Whoops, we did obviously, but
Obviously.
um I just won't do it because I just want to go to bed and I
You
don't
just
want to
want to go to Nobu and get out of this vow renewal
I
ceremony.
just want to go to Novu. I just want to go home and, eat a plant-based fake bacon sandwich and
Right.
call it a night,
That's right.
That's what I would rather be doing.
She's
Um
mainly pissed off though because she's not on a resort, and that is not the version of the Dominican Republic that she had in her head, and it's all very Danielle.
It's really annoying, particularly when she says things and they're both calling each other annoying nonstop, which is hilarious to me. When she says David should not criticize UK food because he's not been to the UK and his taste buds are limited. I would prefer to focus on the issues in the relationship, her complete inability to tolerate him being anything but accommodating and warm and embracing her. And as he quite rightly points out, she can't, he's very patient with her. Um, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. She needs to be with a much older man who
Yeah.
will put up with this
Well, it's clearly
because
what she wants. But this is the whole thing. A princess doesn't give two damns what the attending servants think. And she's been raised to think like that, right? This kind of
right.
isn't her fault. I just want to say, when you attack someone for being princessy, look at the family and the parents who have enabled this.
Well, look, I don't know if she has a father figure to put her tiny little hand in.
Or a
Someone to
preacher or a teacher.
or a teacher or
Or a
anything
combination of the two. A
or a
preacher teacher.
combination of the 2. Anything
By the way, is a preacher teacher like someone from a seminary who teaches preachers?
I guess you'd have to do you know what I just thought? Do you think and you might even know this actually. Do you think well, 2 questions. 1, is George Michael an exception to your rule of not trusting people with 2 first names?
Yes.
And good.
Because George was clinically unable to ever lie about anything. It was both the best and the worst thing about him.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
I hate that he's not on this planet anymore.
I
Um,
was thinking the other day, like I spent a year of my life working with George, and this honestly occurred to me the other day. I never got a picture with him. And like, I never got pictures with people because I always felt it was naff, right? I
well,
really
but also it was before camera phones because this was
It wasn't before camera phones, but God love you. Um, um, but I was thinking the other day how much I would have treasured that. Really hit me hard, actually. I was just sat like in bed or something. I was like, "There's no picture of me and George," and it just made me feel really sad.
Aw.
Yeah,
But there's gotta be I mean, you've got audio tapes and stuff like that. Isn't that
I don't know. I
you
don't
don't?
personally. No,
No,
no.
it's all with the
Yeah,
company?
yeah.
Okay. Why are you still mean? I gave you food. I think that's a common enough expression in this house.
Can that go on the Blighty Day merchandise that we've been mulling?
I think it will. I think it's going to
On the
have
front,
to.
why are you still mean? On the back, I gave
I
you
gave
food.
you food. Yeah.
It's quite a good t-shirt.
Look, yeah, she doesn't this is such a wasted opportunity. This is such a waste of look, is he a generous lover? No. Can he plow you into the sand? Yes, he
Yeah,
can.
you can do
Can
that.
he can he rail you so hard that you see stars? Yes. And you
Not
know,
good stars though. You know those blurry, ugly stars, not the nice
no,
twinky ones.
no, I think it is
You
the
think?
nice twinkly
Yeah,
ones. I think
I don't
look,
know.
this I think he can fuck, in as much as she can fuck. Like they're
She
children.
cannot fuck.
No, she's a starfish, absolutely.
She cannot fuck. Um, it all reminded me of Amanda and Razvan. Like the second he has an emotion, that becomes a major problem for her.
Oh yeah, definitely. Incidentally, Amanda can definitely fuck.
Amanda can fuck, but in that kind of Black Widowy way, that you might not wake up alive.
No, when I saw that, and again,
If she needs to, if there's something in it for her, she will give you the ride of your life, right? But know that if you have good sex with Amanda, you will not live to tell the tale.
the last one didn't.
My God. Oh, brother. Who's next?
You know what? I think that's everybody,
Yeah.
and thank goodness for that. Um, yeah, look, we're off to a slightly bumpy start. I think we were I can't believe I'm saying this, but I Miss Louise and Jose.
I um, if you're not going to have us on the show, then at least make sure, right, that the people on the show are as entertaining as we are. Okay?
We didn't even show up in the preview for next week, and that's going to mislead the viewers into thinking that it's the end of our story. And it really shouldn't be because obviously we're doing very well on the social media. And when I have my babber, who's going to be named um,
Artichoke.
Chicken Louise, but spelled Luiz,
Yeah.
uh, Discovery Plus.
Yeah. Discovery Plus. Discovery Plus size model.
Sorry. I know you told me not to peek and I just did. Um anyway, all right. Let's pack up our
Troubles in her old kit bag and smile, smile,
smile,
smile.
smile. Oh, we love you all so much. Can I just make a one little teeny weensy apology? I stand corrected.
I mean,
The
you're lying
nomen
down, to be fair. You
I'm
lie
not lying
corrected.
down, I'm sitting up. I sit up corrected. Um, Certain bits and pieces of nomenclature are confusing because while I grew up in the US, I have spent nearly as much time in the UK, so I don't always get things right, and I do apologize for that. Um, Southeast Asia includes the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei. I'm sure that list is not exhaustive. East Asia is China, Japan, and Korea.
Okay.
Um, Now, it gets confusing because when you say Asian in the UK,
Yes.
it's normally understood that you're talking about an Indian or Pakistani person.
Correct.
Whereas
Whereas
in
in the
America,
States,
yeah,
you mean Southeast Asian, right? No, you
yes.
mean East Asian because more Korean
Well,
often?
Southeast Asian or East Asian,
All right.
but they are different things, and they're not all under the same umbrella, as it were. So I apologize to all of our Asian listeners
Right.
for getting that wrong. Please don't ever hesitate to correct me on things like this. The more I know, um, the more like I do actually care about this shit, so I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Elliot will appreciate being called out for not knowing that Anne Boleyn was beheaded by a sword. I think there's probably gonna be, that's gonna be a hot topic. So,
Oh,
we'll see how that goes.
he won't be able to show his fair at a his face at a Ren fair for quite some time. I feel like Elliot does dress up in medieval outfits,
He
just
would if he could.
at
No, but
home,
he did for the entire time he worked in the Commons. I mean, that
right?
uniform has not changed.
Yeah,
It really hasn't.
I think he still puts half of it on and prances around his flat. That's all I'm saying.
I know he does. Um, Big thank you to I
And
mean,
he can pull it off.
yeah, he's not listening to this, but huge thanks to huge thanks to Elliot for dipping his toes in the 90-day universe waters for the very first time and
Thank you.
elevating the discussion to
We
such an
in
extent.
Yeah, we enjoy Miss Elliot. We enjoy Miss Elliot. Um,
But yeah,
right. I'm going to leave the cabin and hasten to the buggy bed, you can stay right where you are. I will see not only you, fair listeners, but also my gorgeous wife soon. God, you say it too.
See you soon.
Done.